Hello, it's Stephen from Geeks on Tap, and today I'm wearing my sunglasses because I want to talk to you about security. I want to start with a story, and this story is about my friend at high school, Greg. Now, Greg was top of his class at everything, and we actually went and studied engineering at university together. And the interesting thing is that I finished my engineering degree and Greg didn't. Now, the reason behind this is that while Greg was really smart at everything, he wasn't so smart at one thing, and that was understanding risk. And he actually hacked into the university's mainframe and was in there as super administrator for 2 years before he was found out. And he was expelled. That's why he didn't finish university. But it goes to show that even people that you think you know do dumb stuff. Even people you think you know can do stuff that's bad for you or your company. So that's a bit of a segue into what is happening right now in 2022. So if I tried to do what Greg did back in the day, I couldn't have done it. I'm just not as smart as he is. But if I wanted to do what Greg did today in 2022, I could easily do it. And the reason is the whole industry, there's a whole industry that's risen up around hacking and hacking tools. I can go and buy wholesale tools from people who are very, very smart, and I could get a hack kit, and I could start a business even on hacking and exploiting things if I was a bad player. So that's what's happening right now. And it's getting to the stage where it's quite concerning. In fact, I've got a few numbers right on my Pixel book here I'm going to read to you. 57% increased volume of attacks in the last 2 years. 59% increase in complexity of the attacks, and 53% in the impact of those attacks. So the whole thing is increased by 72%. One of the favorite things that bad players like to do is ransom your data or ransom your identity. They want Bitcoin. So they want Bitcoin for this and Bitcoin for that. So in 2020, 37% of organisations with 100 staff and over globally were hit with a ransomware attack. In 2021, 66%, it doubled almost, were hit by a ransomware attack. So what are the payouts? How do they get out of this? If you look at the latest Bitcoin price, it's $41,946 for one Bitcoin. So they do one or multiple Bitcoins. So minimum you're going to be paying is over $40,000 to get out of a ransomware situation. Then the average payout is, get this, $812,000 US is the average payout to get out of a ransomware attack. That's epic. And the last thing we want to see is any of our customers in those situations. We've had one situation in the last 10 years, our customer was not on the Google ecosystem. So what do you do about it? Well, you can get insurance. So let's go and get insurance. Now, that's a few hoops to jump through. We've just recently got cyber insurance. It's not easy to get anymore. 94% of companies are saying that the process of securing cover has changed over the last year. Higher level of complexity to apply, the policies are more complex, the fewer insurance companies want to even do it now, the process takes a long time, and 34% say it's got more expensive than last year. So, what do you do about it? Well, who are the people who are paying out this ransomware? The vast majority of people who are paying out the ransomware are still on their 5, 10, 15-year-old systems. And that's because if you do nothing, the risk increases year on year on year. Local desktop clients is where ransomware and hackers love to live. They love to live on your PC or your Mac. They love to grab things like email attachments. They love to nuke you through patches and updates. And they love directories and identities sitting on servers, sitting around your office or on computers. All those things are like gold to the hackers. What's happened? Okay, let's put all these tools in place and let's grab all this 5, 10, 15, 20-year-old technology and let's put like security around it. Well, what happened there? Well, Microsoft themselves weren't even able to defend to some hackers. They got hacked via SolarWinds, and that was 18,000 customers were affected. The WannaCry virus, millions of customers. Netfilm ransomware targeted Microsoft Remote Desktop services. Colonial Pipeline, VPNs and stolen passwords. There just goes on and on. 60,000 customers breached here. You can just go to ZDNet and Google it. and you'll see what's been happening, particularly in the last 3 years. If you haven't had an attack to date, it's not like if, it's a when sort of question. That's what I'm saying. Am I trying to scare you? I guess yes, I am, because I'm scared too, and that's why we spend a lot of time and a lot of money at Geeks on Tap securing our systems. Thankfully, because we're a Google partner on the Google ecosystem, that's not as big a journey as other companies. So how do we go with Google on this? Well, Google does all the heavy lifting. So Google Workspace itself is secured by design. It's baked in with security. And because we're mainly using Chromebooks, we have a lot of protection baked into the system. The way to do it is cloud first, trust nothing, detect everything, protect everyone. That's the mantra that Google uses, and we've adopted that, and it works really well. In fact, in all the Google customers we've been dealing with the last 10 years, we haven't had one serious incident ever with everyone on Google Workspace. It's been really great. What are the actual outcomes of going Google and using the Google security model? For Gmail, 99.9% plus of spam and phishing messages are blocked even before arriving into your inbox. That's the power of the global Google ecosystem. Now, if you then take this little key here, I don't know if you can see it, this thing called a YubiKey. If you have one of these, reported detected account hijackings after those security deployments is 0. Millions of users have now been deployed with those keys internally at Google, and then big corporates have been deploying them, but they're now cheap enough and available even for small and medium businesses to deploy the keys. This is now the world's second most popular operating system. The amount of ransomware attacks on a Chrome OS device is 0. That's it. These devices have never been hacked. Compared to Mac is next, and of course Windows after that. So they are very, very, very good results in the security space. So how do you go forward? How do you work with this? Well, Google have released a service called WorkSafer, and WorkSafer provides you not just with Google Workspace, but everything that interacts with Google Workspace. It's a whole lot of tools that you can put together with Google and secure your whole technology estate. So think of it like if you've got your own estate, you've got indoors and outdoors, not just protect the house itself, but protect the estate, protect the walls, protect the gardens, everything. That's the idea of WorkSafer. It's not just about the inside of Google, it's also about the outside of Google and what you do with that. So that's the endpoints, the networks, and the applications that you're using with your ecosystem. Where do you go from here? Well, there's a lot to talk about, but I think the best way to tackle this is to do a security workshop that we'll invite you to. It won't be any sort of sales exercise. It'll just be like, what's your situation and how can we help? I'm going to put my glasses back on to say goodbye hackers and hello security. I invite you all to the workshop. Let's talk.